Awesome.
It's being
So
recorded.
welcome everyone again. My name is Shloka Iyengar. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications at SWB. I'm calling in from New York today. Really nice to see so many new names as well as so many familiar names. I'm sure we'll have more people come in. A few things before we get started. If you feel comfortable doing so, please share in the chat your name, where you're calling us from. And if you want, one of the things that you could also do is enable closed captioning at your end. So to do that, on the bottom of your screen, there's a little box that says CC. It could go, say, just enable live transcription. And if that is, if you have weak connection, or if there's just another way for you to get engaged. So it's really amazing for me to be here and talk about this project, this open online statistics course that volunteers of SWB have been working on for more than a year at this point. So we have some amazing panelists. The next hour or so, we will hear from them for about 45 minutes. In the meantime, please feel free to put any questions or comments in the chat, and we will go ahead and ask our panelists later. We will have time for Q&A. Before getting started with our panelists, we have David, David Whitford, who's part of our executive committee. David, if you want to say a few words, please, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Shloka. Welcome to the meeting, and I guess many of you have been involved in this project, and some of you have not, and are just wondering what's going on. With respect to SWB, Gary Shapiro, who's also on board here for this hour, is one of the founders. I think Gary can correct me if I'm wrong. We're about 12 years old, and we do about 25 to 30 projects every year around the world, and we've been doing that for many years now. I'm head of the engagement committee, along with Fatima Zarin, who I see has joined us also. Wave, Fatima. We both are head of the engagement committee that oversees the PCMs that work on this project, who in turn oversee the volunteers that work on the project. And all of us love to be part of SWB because of the pay. It's just wonderful. We all get $0, but it's very worthwhile work. If you've been with us long, you can have heard about or read about some excellent projects that we've done over the years. This project is a quantum leap in size from anything that we've ever done, and it's gigantic, and it's wonderful. And I'd like to see more of these, because we have so many volunteers and so many people that are ready and willing to work. And I congratulate Ian Barrett on heading up the project, and Ian will undoubtedly talk some more about the project today. But welcome, and enjoy the hour that we're here.
Thank you. Thank you for starting us off, David. And thanks to all of you for putting where you're calling from today. It's really nice to, we're not in person with each other, but at least there are some ways where we can, build the network and connection. So as David mentioned, I think without further ado, Ian Barrett is the project and client manager for this massive project. Would you like to get us started about, how did the project start? What were the different phases? What are the different phases? And then what have your personal motivations been in order to like really lead this project of this magnitude?
Well, I can say that the project has certainly been a wonderful experience for me too. So what we have is that it began in 2020 in a collaboration that I believe that Gary helped to set up with AIPD, the African Institute for Professional Development, an NGO in Rwanda. And the people from AIPD were essentially concerned that we could say there was a skills gap for Rwandan graduates and that they were strong theoretically, but once they finished their academic programs at the post-secondary level, they didn't always have the applied skills that they needed. So they were looking to create an academic program that would help to bridge that gap. They chose 5 different subjects to focus on. Basic statistics are also econometrics and monitoring and evaluation and biostatistics. And the last 3 of those 5 have beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels as well. So, and that's an absolutely massive undertaking. They did up a syllabus for this in the first part in the first part of 2021. I was not involved with that, but I know that some of the people here were. I know that, for instance, Shalini was involved in creating the syllabus, and then yeah, they went on to look to make courses, and it was just a huge undertaking. We were looking at about 220 hours of material to prepare. And so this gave us an excellent opportunity in that there was no way that we could ask like a single volunteer to do 100 hours of courses. That would have been inhumane. So we were able to open it up to the entire SWB community and essentially take on so many volunteers, which was great because, I mean, SWB is a fantastic idea, but sometimes we have more volunteers than projects. And so people can feel a bit left out and they can't find a project for some time, but here it was an opportunity for everybody to get involved and to do something meaningful right from the start. So that was just great. It was really, really nice to be able to offer that opportunity to so many people. And then as we went, we realized that, I mean, there were certainly challenges that may have not been completely understood at the beginning in terms of, for instance, the complexity of creating an accredited academic program in Rwanda. So this is tough. Like, I have no idea how it would even work. And so the clients have been working on that. But so we said in the interim, look, like if we're not gonna be able to get these video lessons out to the students in Rwanda for a bit of time, let's just make them available to everybody. And so we started putting them up on the YouTube channel. And even that's been tons of work. Like we've had great help from some of the people who were helping out with the video editing. We have people who've been uploading, like even Matt at the chair was helping us out to upload videos onto the YouTube station, looking to automate it. The other co-manager, Alan, has been looking into that as well. So yeah, but it's been up there. And that's been great to be able to see like the benefits for everybody, like people who have, we could say, a very firm background in the subject but want to refresh on the advanced topics can certainly do that. People who are beginners just looking to get an introduction to the material can also benefit. So seeing that has been fantastic. And yeah, there's tons left to do. So anybody who is interested, like from the technical perspective, you can make the courses. From the visualization perspective, we're certainly looking for people to help optimize the YouTube channel, because I mean, I wish that I had the time in the day, but I mean, I can only do so many hours. So the more help we can get is really, really wonderful. And yeah, we've had so much going on, like certainly in terms of the courses, like Shalini has produced tons for the advanced monitoring and evaluation unit, which has been just great. And we also had Hope McHadden did up tons of videos for the beginner unit of that same unit. And then we've had people like all points between, like whether they've done one video, 2 or 3. It's been great. So, and also the fact that we have volunteers from all over the world, literally from all continents. We've been able to work with people from Brazil to Malaysia to Nigeria to Holland, like all over. It's been great. So yeah, that's been my basic impression, and I know that we're going to make a product that will be used by SWB for many years to come. So it's been really fantastic. So yeah, I think with that I can pass over the mic to others here to be able to share their experiences too.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ian. I love the progression of, an idea, what you took an idea and like it's, really grown into something really tangible, not just for AIPD and its students, but really for like everybody who might be interested. Next, I would like to ask each of our panelists a little bit about, where they are. We'd love to know you more, what you do outside of SWB, and then what led you to volunteer for SWB and this specific project. Emmanuelle, I'm gonna spotlight you. But would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure, I can go next. Oh, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. So my name is Emmanuelle. I'm from Brazil. I'm from São Paulo, but I live in the UK. I work as a data scientist for Xbox, but I am a statistician. And I decided to join SWB because I work with games, it's fun, but I didn't feel like I was giving anything back to society, to the community. And then I decided to look for volunteering opportunities, and I found this amazing community. And actually the AIPD project was my first one within SWB. And I decided to be a part because I really believe that knowledge should be spread to as many people as possible. And when I saw that project was to learn, create materials, I thought that was perfect. It was not only an opportunity to help and give back, but also to teach and spread everything that I know, and hopefully in the most passionate way I could. So yeah, that's me, and nice meeting you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know you've done a whole bunch of work. Ian, we just heard from you about the project, but would you like to share a little bit of what you do outside of SWB? And I know you've been like really busy recently, so if you want to share just a little bit.
Sure. Well, really, my background is in economics. I graduated with a master's in the economics of tax policy, essentially. And having the tax background, that took me to data science, where I am today. And I work for the government of Canada, creating a data warehouse at the moment to be able to make sure that we're able to guarantee that companies treat their employees well. So that would be a quick summary. Then in terms of SWB, this is my third project that I've been involved with, and they've all been very, very rewarding. I think this one will be going on for a bit more time, so it'll keep me busy. And generally beyond that, I've been keeping myself busy just with family life here in Canada, where I live, in the Ottawa region near the national, well, it's near the capital city, Ottawa. We have very short summers, so I'm trying to make the most of that with my kids because they're 7 and 8, and so I want to get out with them. And so that's been taking up my free time when I'm not working my day job, which is got lots of extra hours there as well. And then I also write in a newspaper here, some editorials, and I'm trying to get the SWB project advancing as quickly as we possibly can. So yeah, not a lot of extra time outside of all that, but it certainly does keep me busy, and I enjoy every one of those things. So it's all good.
Oh, I did not know about the newspaper. Thank you for, there's always so much. That's what I love about our volunteers. There's just like so much that, that they share even outside of SWB. Thank you, Ian. Jason, would you like to share with us a little bit about what you do outside of SWB, as well as what led you to join SWB?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. So my day job, I guess I'm a faculty member in the mathematics department at the University of Scranton. That's in Northeast Pennsylvania. I'm interested in applied mathematics and quantitative biology. So that's sort of what I teach, a lot of stuff in those areas. Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember exactly how I stumbled across SWB, but when I did, I just thought it sounded really interesting and kind of fits in well with my professional interest in terms of teaching, and then just was a really cool service opportunity that connected with other things I was already doing. One of the things I really like about it is what kind of Ian said earlier about just like working with people from all over, new people, and that's been really cool.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for being a part of SWB. And Shalini, do you want to share with us a little bit about yourself?
Lamek going first. Isn't Lamek going before me?
I don't see Lamek. I don't think he
Lamek, I
joined.
thought he's there. Lamek. Okay.
Oh, I don't see him now.
Lamek calling once, twice, done. So my name is Shalini. I have been working with SWB since COVID started. I have done a lot of pro bono work in statistics for about a decade, and I think SWB stands out way ahead. I mean, I've done 17 projects so far, and I think it is a very valuable service to society. What do I do? What do I do for life? I do whatever I feel like. Just like we had Jason say, Professor Graham say, I have had many careers. I have been a consultant, a startup person, and I was a professor, the last thing. But I think once I started SWB, I actually stopped being a professor, and I gave up my full-time professor job because we realized what a bad job we do with it. No offense to all the others who have, doing an amazing job. I think academics, I come from the business school, and academics has become pretty horrible in my ways. So SWB has actually taken up most of my life for the last 2 years. I do teach, I do a lot of research, and I do, most of the time I teach working adults, and that's my sweet spot. And so therefore, I love SWB. So thank you, Gary, for starting this, and I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Shalini. And yes, a big thanks to Gary. I think Gary is usually quiet, but I know he's here and listening. And so all of this is really due to your efforts, 12 years ago. So thank you again, Gary, for starting this group, but also for being such an important part of it since its inception. So coming to the AIPD project, or this Open Statistics course project, we would love to ask each of our panelists their specific role. So what was it, what was your specific role? Anything you would like to share? Emmanuelle, do you want to go first? It's just alphabetical.
Yeah, sure, that's okay. So I started doing some videos, some of the lessons for the biostatistics part. I did some videos for logistic regression. Then I did some more on statistical computing that involved Kaplan-Meier, Cox regression, and machine learning techniques. And now I am taking some more of the machine learning ones. I am doing the slides and videos for decision trees, for example. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing these videos and the slides and talking to what I call the supervisors, like Michael, that I know is on this call. So yeah, it's been really great.
Thank you, Emmanuelle. Ian, I know you mentioned a little bit about like the inception and big picture, but what are the many things that you do? I'm sure like there's a lot that happens to make sure everything goes smoothly. Could you give us like some idea of how do you do that?
Yeah, essentially, we tried a number of different techniques for the organization because I'd say at this point, because we did just bring in some new volunteers. So I probably spend about 95% of the hours I'm able to put on the project on organizational tasks. So that's just responding to emails and being able to find topics for everyone, keep track of who's working on what. So we tried Slack, but I found it was not as effective as email because people weren't aware sometimes that they were getting messages on Slack. So that was unfortunate. And then they wouldn't respond. And then we had a bit of a communication breakdown. So I've been using mostly Gmail, and it's excellent for searching. Like the search engine in Gmail is just wonderful. It helps me to find what I need. And then I just track everything in spreadsheets. I have a permanent repository for the videos that I've been keeping track of. I have also been coordinating with, please correct me if I mispronounce her name, Moi, M-O-I-I.
Yes, Moy.
Great, perfect. She's been doing a great job with the video editing. So I've been working out with her, like how we can make the videos more polished, working out with Alan, for instance, how to get the videos uploaded to the YouTube sites. And I haven't had a lot of time for other things. I was hoping to spend more time on the YouTube channel, especially to be able to get that like optimized, to be able to find things as easily as possible. But yeah, if I have more hours in the day, that would certainly be it. And Canadian winters being what they are, I think I will have more time in the winter because I'm not going to be going out nearly as much. So that'll help me to fill up my days.
Sounds good. Yeah. Jason, what was your specific role in the project?
Sure. So when I first got involved in the project, I was making videos for the R programming courses. And so I made a couple of videos, and then more recently I started to serve as one of the statistical consultants for the R programming course for the project.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Shalini?
So just like Ian mentioned, I started off the project before this project started, where we were actually creating the syllabus for AIPD. So I was leading the basic statistics thing, and we and my team, my amazing team from Hong Kong and from Africa, actually created the syllabus for basic statistics. And then on AIPD, for this project, I have actually sat and done videos for monitoring and evaluation, econometrics, and several of them. But I think I really want to say thank you to Ian. I know this is not the best job, and I know I have been difficult. So sorry, Ian. But he is the one who glues everything together, and he handles all the issues which happen between consultants and doing this. So thank you, Ian, for being the calm, quiet noise which actually makes all this happen.
Yes, thank you. Cannot say that enough times. Thank you, Ian.
It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It's been great to be able to work with all of these wonderful volunteers. And Shalini is, I have to say, a machine. Like she puts out like a video, it seems, every day. It's been incredible. So thank you very much for the dedication as well.
Thank you. I think next, if we could hear from the panelists, what what worked in the project? What were some of the highlights according to you? And also equally, what were some of the things that could have gone better? Anything from anything that stands out in your time working on these. Emmanuelle, do you want to share?
Sure. Yes, I think what worked for me was to create a schedule. So I had my weekly plan with the time that I was gonna spend to create the lessons, and also having a lot of feedback with the people that were going to check the slides and if the content was okay. So I tried to make those feedbacks as regular as possible. So it wouldn't be too much for them to read all at once, and also it wouldn't be too much for me to possibly fix at once. So I think that that structured schedule really worked for me. If I were to, I don't know, maybe think about some things that didn't work as much, were maybe some of the communication with the other volunteers, because for my first, for the first lessons that I took, it was on biostatistics, and I was doing the computer part, so everything on R. So when I was writing about the lessons and everything, at the start, I wrote a lot of theory. And when I sent to the person that was checking, they told me, no, you don't need to write all this theory. This is the practical part. But of course, I didn't know what was written, what was covered, and what wasn't. So being the practical without seeing what the theory had covered, it was a little difficult and complex, because I didn't know if the data sets that I was using maybe would make sense to what was shown before, if what I was saying was covered or not. And so to me, that was the part that was a little bit more complicated. And I think that having that extra communication, at least with the people that were doing this theoretical part first, would have been nice, but it all worked out in the end, so that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. How about you, Ian? What were some of the things that project of this magnitude really worked, and other things that in retrospect you might want to, if you were to do it again, change?
Yeah, I would say that what really worked was making sure that we opened it up to as many people as possible, to be able to lighten the load. I think like what's worked the best was, again, just by being able to bring in so many people with like such a wide variety of skills, and then let them have that creativity. That was fantastic. So people just ran with the concept, and we've had some great results as a consequence. In terms of what didn't work so well, I mean, I think that the project, it's been going very, very well overall, in my opinion. Again, many people just doing so much great work. I think we tried to address the issue with the SCs being overworked, because certainly at the beginning, when we got a lot of slides in, because for the first round we had I think about 50-60 volunteers. Many people submitted slides, and I mean, life happened and they weren't able to continue certain ones. Others went for the videos and then beyond, which was great. But I know that especially for some of the more difficult topics, like I especially think back to biostatistics and econometrics, because you have to really make sure that everything is correct, that there aren't any theoretical errors in the material. And that I noticed that, especially, so yeah, like the SCs that we had there, they were working very, very hard. And I would have liked to have been able to lessen that burden a bit. Yeah, but I think like Saida was working on econometrics and Julia was working on biostatistics, and just seeing like the amount of time that they had to put in to each set of slides to come up with the comments. And now Jeff has recently taken over for Julia, and again, he's doing a fantastic job coming up with like all of these different detailed comments. But Jeff, just imagine if instead of having the one set of slides coming in, which is currently the case, if you had like 20 in a week. So that was Julia. So it's like, goodness. But yeah, she really stepped up to the plate, did a great job, helped us out so much. So maybe it's also very difficult to find the level of expertise to be an SC. But if we'd known that, especially for econometrics and for biostatistics, if we could have possibly found some way to have like 3 or 4 SCs, that would have been good. But I don't think that we would have, because that level of expertise is just so hard to come by. So, but yeah, beyond that, I think maybe also if we'd better understood at the beginning the challenges that the clients would face. Because that was, I think, one of our blind spots, is that we didn't realize, okay, yeah, we want to get this academic program up and running in Rwanda. How much work is that on their end from the administrative? And if both of us and them, had that understanding, I think it would have been a lot easier on all parties. But yeah, so I would put it there.
Thank you, Ian. I remember there were like just a few months ago when things were really going sure very busy for the AIPD folks, and it was a bit challenging to get them, but they're back on board, which is of course great. Jason, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would say from my perspective, everything's gone really well. When I first started, and I made the first set of slides for the lecture, like it kind of took me a while to get around to making the video. I think I was a little bit nervous about kind of going from the slides to the video, because I wasn't sure I'd be able to script it well and kind of transition smoothly from slide to slide when I'm doing the videos. But once I just sat down and did it, I think it worked out fairly well. And so yeah, I mean, I've been pretty happy with the process. Now that I'm serving in the role of an SC, it's been cool to see what other people are doing. I mean, all the sites I've reviewed have been really good. All the videos I've reviewed have been really good. So I think everything is great.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jason. How about you, Shalini?
Thanks, Yoga. Yeah, and I think being a professor helps, because we've done this before. So all the people who are not professors, you realize we do a lot of work, much as it seems like we do nothing. But I think that helped in creating the PowerPoints, in the video recording, and I mean, I do a lot of that as part of my work as professor. But I think what really worked was, again, I'm coming back to Ian, because I think I've run organizations, I've done big projects, and having a strong project manager really, really mattered, and the structure and, the dividing of work and all. So I think that he did very well. And so thank you, Ian, again. That really, really worked. One thing that maybe, and I don't want to throw a curveball here, but right now, the latest thing that I'm doing in teaching is actually making myself obsolete and creating a digital human using AI, which basically will take my PowerPoint and talk about it, right? And more importantly, it's interactive. So like somebody in Rwanda, instead of just seeing a video, we can actually do an interactive thing where they'll stop and say, I don't understand this. And the AI will respond, my digital human, it looks like me, talks like me, will actually respond. So maybe, Ian, if you want, for the next couple of months that are left, we can actually try that, because that could be something very powerful in terms of learning rather than it being static.
Oh, how cool. Thank you for sharing, Shalini. That's really amazing. I think if people have any questions, please feel free to add in the chat. But Ian, I think there's a lot of things we talked about. Do you want to tell us? I know you mentioned there's quite a bit of work that still needs to be done, although there's much that has been done already. What are you looking towards? Like, what is specifically the future? What kinds of things are coming up? And then what roles are you looking to fill?
For the short term or the medium term even, the challenge that we'll have is for more of the advanced units, especially for advanced biostatistics. We will need to get some subject matter experts there who are able to produce that material. That'll be a challenge, but I mean, super interesting. We've had some great work there already. So yeah, that would be one. And also, again, being able to optimize the YouTube channel. I just would, I feel like we've maybe not been able to spend as much time on it as we could. So that would be great. And then once the academic program is in place with AIPD, then what we'll need is to have students use the videos and then have live, I call them tutorials. They're also known as breakout sessions or lab sessions, depending on where you are in the world. But like just maybe once a month, somebody hosting a session with the students who've taken the courses via the pre-recorded videos to be able to give these extra sessions where they could go through exercises, for instance, take questions. That'll be the more long-term. And then we have to figure out how do we make that sustainable, because that'll have to be every single semester for who knows how many years. So that'll be a challenge for sure. But yeah, so those will be the roles coming up. And certainly, as we said at the General Assembly last week, anybody who's interested, by all means, drop me a line, and I'm sure that we can find a role for you. So.
Thank you, Ian. Could you kindly share the email that you want people to reach out to you on via chat? So that's amazing. Thank you again. Do the panelists have anything else to share? Does our audience have anything to add? I think these were the questions I had in my mind. But anything else people want to add? This might be your time to do so.
I think we, to Ian's point, we also have to think about how they will consume the videos, right? I had mentioned to Ian earlier, will they have bandwidth issues? Will this be in the cloud? Will this be, on CDs? Because, if you don't have good internet connection, so those are issues also, I know in implementation will be needed and need to be thought through in terms of actually having it being effective for the people. So, and when I had spoken to AIPD last year, there is, of course, there is internet connection. I'm not trying to say that, but having all these other professionals who will actually use the courses to be able to access it and update things, right? Like even in statistics, I know it's like 100 years old since Carl Pearson, we haven't changed concepts, but there are a lot of new things coming up, and how do we integrate that, especially in the workplace, in analytics. So I think an ongoing kind of updating things and access is the things that we need to look at in the future.
Makes sense, Shalini. No, absolutely. Just the beginning, it seems. Any other thoughts, any other feelings? Gary, do you want to say, not to put you on the spot, but if you feel like it, please feel free to share a few words.
Gary, unmute.
There we go. Yeah, this is by far the biggest project SWB has ever had in terms of how much we have to do, how many people we've needed to work on it. And you just never know where a project's going to come from. I mean, this came up. I attended a conference, and the person that's our main client was one of the speakers at the conference, and I put something in the chat box saying I don't think it was specific to him, although I don't remember. It might have been specific to him, but I think it was general and saying, you know, SWB provides free statistical help. If anybody can use help, let me know. And he got in contact with me. We talked, set up the project, and even when we set it up, I passed it on to the project and client managers. And I had no idea it was going to be such a big project. It looked to me like, you know, we're going to have 1 or 2 courses maybe that we're going to work on. That's all I knew about. So, you know, it's you attend the conference, you put something in the chat box, and it usually gets you nothing, and sometimes it gets you a whole lot. And this has been, you know, I think all of you who have worked on this have done a fantastic job. And I don't know that anybody else in the world could have taken on something like this, really. Especially not for free.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. I think just the global nature of this project, you know, it's really so unique and unique to SWB. So thank you all for being here. Of course, Ian, thanks for putting your email in the chat. We really thank all of the work that you've been doing. Thank you, all of the audience, you know, everybody for attending and listening. I will post this video on our YouTube and then send out an email to the entire listserv. So, you know, in case you want to take another look, and I'll also post our YouTube channel's URL so you can, you know, access these amazing videos from there also. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and rest of your week. And we'll see you in another panel discussion or webinar. Bye. Thank you, Shalini. Thank you for everything.